Oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh, oh. My God, my God, my God. Yeah. I know you have plans for us, plans for us. Oh, yeah. My God, my God, my God, my God. You have plans for us, plans for us. Of good and not of evil, you have. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, Father, Father, you have plans for us. That's why we trust in you. That's why we trust in you. Yeah. Oh. My God, my God, my God. Yeah. I trust in you. My God, my God, my God, my God. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Whoa. We follow your plans, yeah. We follow your plans, Jesus. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, hearts hasn't pondered the great things you have for us. Eyes have not seen, ears haven't heard, hearts have not pondered the things you have for us, Jesus. Oh, my God, my God, my God. Yeah. Whoa, whoa. My God, my God, my God, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Ah. We follow you, we follow you. We follow you, follow you, follow you. You are our guide, our guide, our guide. Yeah. You direct our steps, Jesus. Yeah. You direct our steps, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. You direct our steps, yeah, 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 yeah. That's why I can trust in you. That's why I can trust in you. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. You direct me, Father. You direct me, Father. You direct me, Father. You make my path straight. 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 Yes, you do, yes, you do, yes, you do, yes, you do. Oh, you make your ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. You're making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. You're making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. You're making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. You're making ways, making ways, making ways, making ways, making ways, making ways. You do. You're making ways, making ways, making ways, making ways, making ways. Yes, you do. Making ways, making ways, making ways. Making ways, making ways. Making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Ways in the wilderness, ways in the wilderness, ways in the wilderness. Yes, you do, yeah. Yes, you do, yeah. Whoa. Ways in the wilderness, you're making ways in the wilderness, making ways in the wilderness. Rivers in the desert, 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 rivers in the desert. That's what you do, that's what you do. Rivers in the desert, rivers in the desert, rivers in the desert, rivers in the desert. That's what you do, Jesus. 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 Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Ways in the wilderness, ways in the wilderness, making ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. In the desert, you do. Ways in the wilderness, rivers in the desert, you do. You can do the impossible. You can do the impossible. You can do the impossible. Yes, you can. 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 Oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Oh, yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Yeah, yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Oh, yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Yeah, yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Oh, yes, you can do the impossible, 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 impossible. Yeah. impossible, Jesus. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Do the impossible, Jesus. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Jesus. Yes, you can do the impossible, Jesus. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh. We praise you, Lord. Take all the glory. Hallelujah, glory to Jesus.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to KAC Interactive Session. We want to give everyone that is watching us tonight a warm welcome. Thank you all for tuning in today. Today is going to be very exciting, so we would like to kindly invite you guys to share the link. Share the link with as many graduates as possible, your friends, loved ones, anyone that you know that graduated in 2022. Because tonight is all about our graduates. This session, as you saw the title, before I introduce my panelists, it says, after graduation, what next? So I want you to be expectant tonight. There's going to be so many useful tips and information and insight to share with you guys. So if I were you, I would take my pen and paper, write down, and also before the end of this session, we will have some feedback, time to fill out a feedback survey. So please kindly cooperate with us and fill out this survey. It will help us to know how to be of service, how to, make sure that we constantly improve on our interactive sessions, and essentially to help you, those who recently graduated, to help you out and to get in touch with you for any further details or any questions that you may have at the end of today's session. So stay tuned and be expectant. So we're going to go straight in. But before that, we want to say a big thank you to our band. Thank you so much for the amazing time of worship a cappella. It was absolutely amazing, and I know that you were dancing in your home. In as much as it's all about useful tips that we want to share with you today, it's also good to enjoy and to groove in the presence of the Lord. So before I introduce my panelists for today, we want to say a big congratulations to all the graduates, all those who graduated in 2022. Well done, congratulations, be proud of yourself. This is an achievement, it's a big milestone, so we want to say God bless you, congratulations all of you. So let's get started. Where do I start? Ladies first. Petra, I would like you to introduce yourself, tell us about who you are. Obviously, before I allow Petra to introduce herself, for those of you who don't know us, the three of us that we will later on introduce ourselves, we are KAC, business and entrepreneurship team. So what we do as a team, yes, give it up, give it up, give it up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like that. Guys, the energy in the house is too good. If you're not here, you're missing out. You are missing out. So as a business and entrepreneurship team, what we do and what we stand for is to ensure that we help the upcoming businesses to, continue to thrive. So we help them with anything or any information or tips that they need in order to grow their businesses. But then also aside that, we know that there are students amongst our midst. And even if you're not in the UK, our KAC partners and people that join us from online, we know that there are graduates among you. And many of you might be wondering, I've recently graduated, what next? What do I do? And so tonight is going to be the night that we will discuss most of these questions. Please do bear in mind, we might not be able to answer all your questions or deal with every single topic. However, we will do our best to share with you good insights. So on my right, Petra, please introduce yourself. Tell our amazing audience who you are, what you do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Petra, as Elizabeth has said, and I am part of the business and entrepreneurship team. I am general assistant, and I'm a graduate. I graduated a long time ago, though. I think it's my 5th year graduating, and I'm currently working in a secondary school as a learning mentor.
Ooh, nice one, nice one. Yes, so gentleman on my left, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Samuel. I'm actually part of the team as well. My role is as a market strategist, so just find strategies or ways. So my time in university, I graduated in 2019. I studied business and information systems, and that's me. So what I do now is I'm a data analytics person for my company, a senior one. So I tend to look at this working with data and all these type of stuff.
Senior, you heard it. You heard it. You heard it. And myself, my name is Elizabeth. For those of you that don't know me, I am privileged to lead the business and entrepreneurship team. I don't take it for granted. I'm part of a great team of people that are highly skilled calibers, and I'm really privileged to be a part of this team. What I do is essentially making sure that everything is running smoothly and that people are constantly impacted. That we as a department, we add in value to KAC as a church. Amen. Amen. That is not just us. We have one other member that is not here presently with us today. His name is Michael. A big shout out to you, Michael. We know you couldn't make it due to other commitments, but we know that you are here with us in the spirit. Okay, so to go straight in, First of all, we would like to share our personal experiences. I think it's really good to share our personal experiences because we're not graduates. I graduated in 2017, so that's a while back. And I believe, just like Samuel said, he graduated in 2019 and Petra graduated in 2017 as well. So we are going to share you our personal experiences and also some of the tips that, we found it useful in our time when we first graduated. So we're going to share these with you and then deal with general topics. So I would like to start with Samuel, since you graduated in 2019, which is quite recently. Can you share your experience with us? What did you do right after graduation?
So for me, after graduation, I can't really say after graduation. So for me, I was generally looking for a job while I was in my third year, so that when I graduate, I can have a job already. Even before my graduation day, because my uni course finished in April, graduation was in July. My intention was when I finished my uni course, I'd get a job straight away and start working. That was my intention. So I had support from my university that was giving me stuff to do with LinkedIn. So improve my LinkedIn page, improve my CV, how I approach myself as well. So my personal statements and all these stuff. Because when you're applying for a job, you have your CV, but also some companies ask for like a cover letter. And those type of letters, they want to know why you want to join and also your experiences. They want you to speak about the role. So in my time for me, it was just come out of uni, get a job straight away. But I didn't plan out like that. So I practically finished uni, my dissertation and everything by April. Couldn't find a job until January 2020. So from that time, it was about probably a good 6 to 8 months that I had income, not consistent income. So in those times, I was looking for jobs, but also my field was trying to get into data. So I knew there was training courses with like coding languages that I can improve myself on. So during those times when I couldn't really find a job, what I did was practice stuff, find out courses I can do to help me even kind of be better than other candidates, because majority of the time when you're applying for jobs, like I've had plenty of interviews where I've been rejected because they said, we found a better person for the job role. And you're probably at the last stage. And majority of the time I'll get to the last stage and I'll get rejected. And there's someone better. So I got to a point where I was like, I've applied for probably over 500 jobs, because it gets to that point where you're just every day applying, and you lose count of jobs you've even applied for. So when people even call you from companies, they'll say, you applied for this job and you're confused because you don't remember the job role you actually applied for, because there's too many of them. So to a point I was just annoyed, sometimes a bit depressing, because you're applying for jobs, nothing's coming through. At the same time, student finance money is running out. And the best thing for me is just having friendships around. So my friendship group will just say, you can't really give up. And some friends I haven't probably spoken to in a while randomly call me out of nowhere, and they'll encourage me, even though I haven't said nothing to them. So that was my type of way. So the way I got a job it was funny enough, it was in prayer and fasting. I didn't expect to get the job, and somehow I got the job. And literally, I woke up one day, I was watching something, the next minute I see a text message saying, you have a job. So that's my experience.
Wow, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. And, I really like what you said in terms of how long it took you to get a job. Because I know people come out of university and the first thing they think, I'm just going to apply. I'll get a response. I'll get an interview. And the next thing is you're hired. But, what you just said made me understand that it's not as easy as it may seem. When coming fresh out of university, it can take time for you to get a job. And one of the things that you said that I also did like is that you even started in your third year. And that's many mistakes that people make, especially students make, that they think, I'm going to wait till I finish uni before I start looking for a job. Even though Samuel started in his third year, it still took him 6 to 7 months after university for him to secure a job. So please, we want to manage your expectations. If looking for a job is your primary motivation or is something that you desire to get right after university, we want to manage your expectations that you might not get a job straight away. It might take time. And, you did mention the fact that, there were times where you were a bit depressed. Now, this is something that does happen a lot. Post-grad, depression or anxieties. People come out of graduation, they have so many anxieties and they don't know what to do and they're a bit depressed and because job search is not going well, just in the same situation as Samuel. My next question for you before I go to Petra, what did you do in that stage when you felt a bit depressed because you were not, things were not going smoothly with the job search? How did you overcome that?
Okay, so personally for me, I shout at everyone. So I shout at people from talking to anyone. So I was just in a dark place. So some of my friends will give me a call and say, like, what's going on? How's the job search? Because I'm heavily involved in music at that time. So even the leaders in my church will call me and say, what's going on? Like, I haven't really heard from you. You've been a bit silent. Is everything good? Da-da-da-da. So a lot of time they were just encouraging me. So sometimes friends will just say, like, let's come out, let's talk. Let's do something else. Maybe let's go out and eat and get your mind off it. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Recently, I must have changed my LinkedIn. And there was about over 1,000 jobs that I applied for. And then I only got, like, in the space of the whole year that companies that actually interviewed me was probably about 10. And they were even that time, it was so depressing that I had to just open up to people. I think what helped me was just open up to friends. And my friendship group were, like, very encouraging. Sometimes they will even tell me, yo, Samuel, why don't you look at applying this role? Why don't you try and be a business analyst and try and get into a data analyst role after? So they gave me options. So sometimes they'll be encouraging me saying that, yo, it's going to be a tough road. It's not what you expect. Don't think just because you've gone to uni, you got a first class, now you come out, they're going to give you a job straight away. That's what my intention was. Like, that was my whole intention. Like, if I'm going to get a first class, I must get a job straight away. But it didn't work out like that. And so my friendship group really helped me out. We had open discussion, and I told them, like, I don't think it's even worth going to uni to get a job. Like, it got to a point where I thought uni was a waste of time, and it just discouraged me from it. So the conversation I had with them to open up about what's hidden in my mind helped me to be relieved, and also getting a job helped to be relieved as well, because now it's coming. Because me personally, I don't want to rely on my parents to say, oh, I need money to do this, this and that. I'm not going to tell you. So that's my thing was my friendship group, and that's how I'm here.
Great, thank you. That is a very good tip. When you're going through those depression season where it's hard for you to get a job, hard for you to secure a job, just open up to friends and people around you, especially people that have already been through that, people that have already graduated. So if at the moment you've recently graduated and you're asking yourself, oh my God, what do I do next? I don't know if I would ever get a job. Am I even good enough? I don't have any work experience. We know that these questions may pop up, but don't let it terrify you. Don't get terrified by it. We've all been there. And that's what I love what you just said, that you opened up to people. So if you're going through a similar thing, just open up to people around you, and you never know what help may come your way. So thank you for that, Samuel. Now over to you, Petra.
My experience?
Yeah, your experience when you came straight out of uni.
So for me, it was totally different to Sam. I was so invested in my athletic career. Like, I was pursuing athletics professionally. So it was only up until 2019 where I had to hang up my spikes, let's say. I had to call it a day because of complications that But I did have a backup plan. And I was like, if I'm not going to do this, I would definitely want to be working with young people. So for me, all my friends were talking about, oh my gosh, I need to get a job, I need to do this. I wasn't joining the conversation because I knew I didn't want to. There's not what I wanted to do right there and then, because if I was to get like a graduate job, it would derail me in my athletic career, because it was literally all I did for from the age of 16 up until 21. It's literally, that was my focus. That's all I did. And because I was so good at it, and I was only going up the ladder. But because of complications, like I said, 2019 is where I had to hang up my spikes. And then I was like, okay, plan B. Plan B was working in the school. And even how I got into that, I went straight to the agency. I went for an agency, and they looked at my skill set and stuff. They're like, okay, cool, we can help you. We can push you into this, we can push you into that. And once I got in the school, that was it for me. Like, I've been there ever since. So for me, I wasn't really focused on the whole graduate job thing, because I didn't want to do that. I just went to uni, mom, dad, here's a certificate. Like, okay, cool, let me do what I want to do now. That's what I wanted to do. And because I'm so sports active, like, it was literally my dream. So I was pursuing my dream. And even in uni, I had to decide between getting a job at uni or doing this full time. And because I didn't want to like lose focus, I just started a business whilst I was in uni so that I can like focus 100% on athletics, because I was training morning and evening. Morning, wake up, go training, then go to uni, rest a bit, go back to training in the evening. So like my life was literally like training. And
Wow.
stuff, yeah.
Wow. What you just said is really good, because a lot of people come out of uni as well and they're like, I don't want to get a job. Maybe I want to start a business. Maybe I want to pursue my other ambition that I've got. How did you manage to convince your parent? Because we live in a society where you come out of uni, your mum is expecting you to start looking for a job. Your dad is asking you, so when are you going for an interview? How far? How are things going? How did you manage to convince them in the first place that you want to pursue your athletic ambition?
It wasn't that simple. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't that simple. But I prayed about it a lot, because in my heart, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I know I can. And I was just going up and up and up, and they could see. So they didn't really question me too much until like I hung up my spikes, and they're like, okay, so what are you going to do? Job. To say when you, like now you're old. Sorry, that was Hebrew, Latin. And now you're getting old, like, okay, like you finish uni. You had to, call it quits with athletics. So what are you going to do? And then I said, please just give me time. Like, please, I don't need the stress right now. But I thank God that I have understanding parents, because as much as they gave me questions, I needed those questions to kind of like boost me. Because some parents, they can actually pressure you. But I thank God my parents didn't pressure me. They didn't pressure me, but they just kept asking like, oh, Amma, so when are you going to, settle down in a job and stuff, so that you can, be more independent for yourself and stuff. They didn't even know I was doing a business at the time. I didn't tell them. So they thought I was just, I don't know. They just thought I was just living life and, but I actually had something on my back. But then I said, I'm looking, I'll let you know when I find it. I'm going to make sure I come back to you with this and stuff. So I just thank God that they didn't pressure me, because I do have friends that they were pressured and it did get them into like a depression mode, because the stages to actually get in is a whole different story, because we have graduates with no experience, graduates with a degree, and that's it. No experience as to how to even compose yourself at interview, what to say, what not to say, how to even apply, It's all of that. They didn't know anything, some of my friends. So for me, I just thank God that I didn't have that much stress and pressure, just because I knew what I wanted to do each stage. Even though athletics didn't work out for me, I knew what I wanted to do next. And even working in the school, I know it's not forever. I'm just learning things so that when I'm fully like on my own route to self-employment, I know what to do and what not to do. So it's like you need that time to really learn from others, like other companies, so that you can implement it in your own, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. I think hearing what you're saying, you already had a plan before you even came out of uni. Like you knew what you wanted to do, and searching for a job was the last thing on your list, which is good, because again, like I said earlier, people come out of uni and they're starting afresh, like they've got zero idea of what they want to do next. And we would like to use this opportunity to tell you to start thinking about what you want to do. You might not know exactly what it is, but outline some few things. Write down things that you may potentially be interested in, because then once you have multiple things, you can at least choose from it. But if you don't know, then you end up in depression, you end up having anxiety, you end up not knowing what next to do. And in the case of Petra, I mean, she's been very blessed. I wouldn't use the word lucky. She's been very blessed for her to like have a clear idea of what she wanted to do, and searching for a job was the last thing. And you may be watching us from home thinking, I don't want to start searching for a job. I want to pursue my other ambition, but how do I convince my parent? To be honest, every parent is different, so we don't have a one rule that use this, do that, say this, say that. But what I would personally say is that do something. Let them see you busy doing something that is at least effective, that might bring you some little income. And it could be you starting, some business. In Petra's case, she was pursuing her athletic career, so in your case, you can find something. If it's hair, I don't know what it is, if it's food, clothing, whatever industry or even on online business, something that you find interesting, that you think that I can do in the meantime, and then use that time to kind of convince your parent that, you know, you don't want to just go straight into searching for a job, but you want to pursue other things that are of interest to you. So again, every parent is different. You know your parent more than we do. So we would say that, or I would personally advise, see what, you know, how you think your parent would react based on how you know them, but find something doing in the meantime. And I'm going to ask you, Samuel, before I come back to you, Petra, I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give somebody coming straight out of uni that does not have job on their mind, that want to maybe pursue other ambitions? It could be a business, because sometimes our parents want us to go straight into, you know, landing a job, get a monthly salary, but maybe that's not what the individual wants. They want to start a business, or they want to even do something, they want to go into music, or they want to go into acting, which is also a career. But our African parents, they're not always on the same page with us. So what advice would you give someone in that situation?
Okay, so for what I would say is have a vision. I tend to write a lot of things down on paper, so I have some clarity of what I'm trying to do. So if you want to start a business, I would say it's how you communicate it. African parents are tough. It's the reality of things, because they want the best for you. So you have to present them with a vision that they can't say no to. Like if you give something, let's use this for example. It's going to be a bad example, but let's use it. Like, when your parents ask you to prepare food, right? Yeah, you're going to try and prepare it to the best of your ability, so that you don't have a comment to say, oh, you can't cook. A lot of times you get an African household. You want to prepare it nice. So you got to consider your vision. You got to prepare it in a way that your parents can believe in you. Like, for example, when I was coming out of university, I had two options. My option was, if I don't get a job by September, I'll do masters. And masters wasn't a thing for me. Some people want to pursue in education because education has a structure. Some people like structured ways of doing stuff. For me, I need structure. If there's no structure, there's no point. Because I need, like when I was for university, for me, when I had the structure, it was great. I can just do the assignment, the exam, fine, bam, next stage, exam, coursework, this, read these books, go to the library, do the coursework. The structure was great for me. But then when I finished, there was not really a structure, because now you're trying to find your way. So your vision, writing stuff down, saying this is where you're trying to be, this is where you're trying to get to. And also, like, this is what you got to think of, like, when you're on your third year, because in your third year, when you come out, for me, I know money is not there because student finance is gone. You know, me, for student finance, because I'm staying in London, there was a lot left. But after a while, either money is running out or there's money coming in. So you need, that's my motto most of the time. So my thing is write a vision. Like every year, I always write something what I'm trying to achieve. So if I'm going to try and achieve this in my third year, I at least know that by April I want a job. Okay, it didn't go like that. September came, there was no job. But master's wasn't really on my mind, even though I had an option to do it. Or starting a business. Sometimes you're thinking to yourself, how do I start a business? I don't have people around me that started a business, and now you're confused because you're like, oh, how should I do it? Should I do it this way? How do I start? Do I need to go to these boot camps or workshops that do these things? And then you're questioning yourself because you don't know. You know what I mean? Because you have no experience. Me, I've been turned down because I had no experience. People say, oh, this person got experience. This person got experience. So sometimes if you write a vision and you say, okay, this is the path you want to follow, and you say, okay, I want to start a business. Okay, what's the market? What's the niche? What's your vision? You can say, okay, I want to do this. Maybe I want to start doing hair. Maybe do it part-time and then trying to find a way. Or you can pursue other educational stuff. Maybe stuff that may not have to be a master's, but there's like a qualification towards that job role you want to get, and then maybe it can make you better in line for that job. All these things. So me, I would tell people, follow your passions, because you don't really want to do a job that you're not really happy in. And sometimes we do because we need the money, but sometimes you'd rather work knowing that you're enjoying the job you're doing. The passion is there. So that's my advice to you.
Thank you. That's really good. That's really good. So have a clear vision. Having a clear vision will give you the opportunity or the ability to convince your parent because they see that you've got a clear structure and a clear plan. Thank you so much, Samuel. So, Petra, when you were speaking, you did mention that when you wanted to go back into actually having a job now, which now you are working in a school, and you went straight to an agency. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know, so I'm going to ask you to shed more light on that in terms of ways to get a job, right? And there are a lot of people that have imposter syndrome. So people, for those of you who don't know what that means, imposter syndrome is when you come out of university, and not necessarily for university graduates, but in this context, when you come out of uni and you're like, oh, am I ever good, to even get a job? I'm not even good at talking, and I don't know if I'll be good with interviews, and I'm not good at that. And the job description, the requirement, I don't really match the requirement. Will I even get the job if I go? I might not be good as other people that have applied for the job. So you're constantly telling yourself reasons why you can't get a job or you can't make it right after graduation. Now, what Petra did in her case is that she went straight to an agency. How was the process for you, and what exactly did you do to land a job?
So because I knew that, okay, my plan A is no more standing, plan B, and I wanted to avoid all the applications and stuff, and because I knew someone that was a recruitment consultant, so they actually recommended me to a company that they no longer worked for because of I said I want to stay in education. So he gave me the name and everything, and then I called them. I called them and I said, hi, my name is Petra. I'm a graduate. I graduated in sports management. However, I want to go into the education sector. They're like, okay, cool. So I came in for like an interview. Like it was kind of informal, but formal at the same time, where I brought in all my qualifications and stuff, and then they asked me my experience, my skill set and everything, gave it to them, and then after that, they said they'll get back to me in a few days, which they did, and then they said, oh, we found you a school, it's here and there, this is the role, are you interested? So for me, it was kind of like
smooth journey.
Yeah, like went straight in because I just, if I want to do something, I'm going to do that. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
I like that. And it's a clear sign that you do believe in yourself. So for those people that are suffering from, and I know it's a hard word, suffering, but that are going through or suffering from imposter syndrome, what advice would you give such a person?
So for such a person, if you have finished in a degree, do you know the jobs available in that degree? Have you done the background research to know how big your sector is? Because let's say if you do healthcare, okay, where in healthcare? You nurse, doctor, what else? There's plenty. Are you looking to stay in radiotherapy? Are you looking to go here? Are you looking to go there? Like, are you able to answer when someone asks you, so what do you want to do? What sector do you want to work in? What band, or like where do you want to start? Like where do you see yourself? Do you need experience? Like, are you able to answer these simple questions, And in university, like whilst you're going through the course, having fun is not your priority, but it is for a lot of people. So your priority is already wrong. So it's like you have to wake up and smell the coffee that, okay, these 3 years will come very quickly. I don't remember how my 3 years went. It went so quickly.
It goes quickly.
So quickly. And I didn't do a master's, So some people, they end up doing a master's because they don't know what to do, And then they get to a master's and, okay, what do I do now, So what I would say is study your sector. Where do you actually see yourself working? What do you enjoy doing? As long as you carry a degree, the doors are already open. Now, which door are you entering? Because there's plenty. And even to enter them, are you on the same page as them? Because if I'm an employer, I'm not going to take you because you have a degree. There's 10,000 other people with degrees. What makes you so different that I should now listen or accept you in my company? Because a lot of people are like a bit depressed because I went to an interview, but they didn't take me. What did you do in the interview? What did you say? Or like, did you say something that made them think, yo, this person's going to waste our money, or this person is going to make us lose clients because their posture even, or how they're even speaking? They couldn't answer a simple question. It's as simple as that. So what I would say to those at that stage, while you're on your second year, what do I actually want to do? What sector do I want to go in? Do I want to work for 5 years, 3 years? Okay, I need to be looking at interview videos. I need tips. I need to train my mind as, okay, I'm not a student anymore. I'm a professional now. It's like little things like this is what we're overlooking, and then we're blaming the society. Meanwhile, we're the first to blame. You didn't prepare yourself. You know,
right.
and you don't know what you're doing. So like, if I'm asking you and you're saying, yeah, well, I just want to stay here, you're not even going straight to the point. You can't answer the question. So I already know that you're not prepared enough. Or you believe that because you have a degree, the door's open. It's open, but entering, you can get kicked out right away.
Exactly.
You get it, so.
And to share some statistics, Petrol, everything you said is so vital. According to statistics for 2022, there are 36.4 million people that graduated.
Wow.
So if you are a graduate in 2022 and you come out and your first thing is, oh, I'm going to get a job. Yes, it is absolutely possible. But know that the 36.4 million people are also coming out with the same mentality and mindset. So just touching on what Petra said, you need to have a unique selling point. What is making you stand out? She had a contact with a recruiter, and that is something that still baffles me. So for me personally, I've been in the recruitment industry for almost 5 years. I've worked as a recruitment consultant. I've spoken to different people in different countries. And I've spoken to both graduate to PhD degrees, director level, name it. And one thing that I always advise people is get in touch with recruiters. It's free. It is a free job. Just get in touch. Look at your respective field. What am I studying? I'm in healthcare, or I'm doing engineering, or I'm doing IT. Whatever it may be, have recruiters that are specialized in these fields. Get in touch with them on a regular basis. Ask them what is currently going on the market. Are there any opportunities available? And this is for those of you, obviously, who want to go into a job. Have these things in mind. Put yourself out there. Don't be reactive. Be proactive. Take initiatives. Don't just go applying for jobs online and expect to get feedback. Because 36.4 million people might be doing the same. So why should they call you for an interview? What would even make your CV stand out? So by getting in touch with recruiters, not only will they be able to share with you what jobs are available, but even how you should prepare yourself during interviews. They will be able to connect you with other people. Just in the same instance as Petra, the recruiter connected you with another recruiter. So that's how it goes. So please put yourself out there. I know you're coming into a different world. The corporate world is completely different. People are not as nice as you think. It's about what you can add, what you can bring to the table. It's not about the degree that you carry. There is more to it. And I'm going to ask you, Samuel, just as I asked Petra, those suffering from imposter syndrome, coming out of uni, all confused, filled with anxieties, not knowing what to do, wanting to go into securing a job in the corporate world, what advice would you give them as a business analyst, senior business analyst?
Okay, I'll say understand. So when you come out of university, you need to understand the degree you studied, what doors does it open? So for example, I know I can be a system analyst, I can be a business analyst, I can be a data analyst, or a compliant analyst. There's many analytic roles I can go into. But then now you need to do research to see, okay, what are the key responsibilities or what things are they expecting from me? So for example, with my degree, I came out with coding languages. So I know how to do database design, or know how to manipulate data, any data that's given to me. So I can visualize it so you can find the key results you want. So if it's financial data, I can show you what information you need. You can see the monthly income or where the business is growing or where it's not. And so you kind of need to understand what doors are open. Because trust me, coming out your third year, graduating, it can be very confusing. It can be very demanding. The pressure is very high because you're like, yeah, I finished. What's next? Because imagine in the UK, you got to realize you're practically in school until the age of 21. Unless some people say after college, they're going to get a job. and do like professional qualifications that can open the door for them to work in different companies or go the apprenticeship route. So then now all of these things are going on. You need to kind of know these information because trust me, it's very demanding. So when I came out of university, I was applying for jobs for compliance analyst, business analyst, or data analyst, all of these different stuff. So the door was wide open for me to apply for different roles, even though I'd be rejected. So you kind of have to, but in the rejection was fine because in a way you're going into the interview where you've never been to a job interview before. So now you start to get a feel of it. At first, I can't lie to you, when they reject you, you're feeling like,
Failed in life.
you feel like you failed. You feel like the pressure is high. You're like, now I've got to look for another job. I thought I got this job. The salary was nice, maybe it was like 30K or something. So yeah, this money coming in is consistent. And then they say, sorry, we're not taking you on. Even some companies don't even tell you. They don't even message you. They don't even get back to you. Like, there was one company that said, it's between you, it's between two people. It's between you and this person. And so I haven't heard from this company for like 3 weeks. So I was like, okay, let me message you and see what you're saying. I messaged the company, the guy was like, sorry, we chose the other person because he's got experience in marketing data. I was like, really? I was like, cool. Yeah, well, I kind of figured because you haven't responded to me for 3 weeks. So, and trust me, it's like that. But the more you start to do, you build up your confidence in things. But trust me, it's very depressing because you feel like the whole world is against you. And sometimes, for me, what I realized was a competition. It's like you're fighting for a job. People are trying to maybe say something nasty behind you, behind closed doors. Or they're giving you impressions of like, because you think you're like, yeah, I'm a great person. Then you read some of your feedback, what people are saying about you, can even make you more depressed. So one thing you got to realize is just because you applied for that one job and you got an interview doesn't mean that's the end or doesn't mean that's the way to go. Sometimes you got to make a positive situation out of something negative. Because I can't lie to you, in interviews, I'm not great. I don't like speaking in public. It's not my thing. Someone's asking you a question, you don't want to answer the question, but you have to because you're in an interview and you want the job. So the more I started to do the interviews, it got better. There's one interview I did, and they tested me on the spot. And the test I did was bad. So, they're like, nah, we're not taking you. It's fine, we're not taking you. The test was bad. They said, we're not taking you. I said, I've driven all this way here, they're not taking you. They made me do a test on the spot. It was bad. I had to design something from scratch. And I don't know these people's system well enough to have the feedback, the information about the system, what's there, what's not there. And so it just went bad. The design was bad. So I said, okay, cheers. I think I don't want to go to this group. And it's fine. I don't want to work for this company. It's fine. But the more I did it, I became more confident. But also it's a bit depressing because sometimes when you're hearing no, you don't hear no. And trust me. So the one thing I would say to you is make sure the support system. Trust me. Because sometimes you need positive comments when you're even saying negative comments in your mind. Because everything is being said in your mind to yourself. It will just throw you off. You don't believe in yourself. I don't think I'll get this job. I'm not great. These people don't even believe in me. No one believes in me in this world. So what's the point of applying for jobs? Trust me, it gets to that. I'm not going to lie to you. It gets to that. You're just sitting there on the floor. The door's closed. The room is dark. And you're just saying, what's happening next? Trust me, it gets there. And then you're someone saying, you still got to apply for jobs. You still got to apply for jobs. And I'm like, don't you understand my brain is tired? Seeing job descriptions, okay, you need to be a SQL developer, you need to have this, you need to have that. And sometimes it can be depressing. And so when I mean the circle you have, even if it has to be you being honest to your parents, trust me, I thank God for my mother and my sister because I can be transparent. So when I'm honest, they'll have to just accept it. If it doesn't come out nice, I'll say sorry at the end. But the fact is I got it out. Because trust me, if I don't speak, no one knows the thoughts in my mind at all. I can't expect someone to read my mind. They're not going to be able to read your mind. No one can until you speak out. So if a person is really going through that deep anxieties, depression because you're applying for jobs and it doesn't go well, the interview people don't believe in you, you have done your CV, made your CV top notch, but then you don't realize there's other people that's fighting for the same job role. There's about sometimes even 10 to 20 people fighting for one job.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Thank you so much for the useful tip, Samuel. It's indeed, the more rejections you get is building up your confidence. Everyone is being rejected. Even people in upper management get rejected. So how much more you graduate? So we know that it can be daunting going through the job search season of your life. For those who want to go into the corporate world, it can be frustrating. But do bear in mind that the rejections, the no's, the no responses, the no feedbacks, these are all things that are going to help you to kind of know the world that you are in. Because when you come out of uni, you actually enter into the real world. Like the corporate world is like the real world. You get to know and understand things from different perspectives. So any rejection that you receive as you go through the job search, just know that it is to build you up. And when you go through these interviews, you can record yourself. Take your phone. Obviously, it's on silent, but you can still press record. Because then after the interview, you can listen to yourself, hear how you sounded, what areas to improve on. Because a lot of people just go there and answer questions and come back. But try and test yourself. When you are even preparing, stand in the mirror. Speak to yourself. Practice, call somebody, a friend of yours, have a mock interview, practice with them. So there's so much that goes into it than just applying for a job, getting a response, getting invited, you going, presenting what you think is good, and then you getting a response that you've got in the job. There is so much that goes into it. So for those of you that are looking for jobs, just know that it's a process. Obviously, one thing that I do on the side is I have a consultancy business called EM Consultancy, and what we do is we offer career tips and career advice. So in terms of CV, cover letters, interview coaching, these are things that I do. So if you require any further information or assistance or require any of our services, you can get in touch with me after the service or after this session. Yes, one other thing that is really key that I want to bring out there for those of you that want to go into the corporate world is networking. Even if you want to start your own business, networking is so important. And there's so many different platforms that I know that my panelists here can attest to that you can use to your advantage. Things like LinkedIn. Petra, have you used LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn account?
You know what? I think I'm one of the only people that don't have one. Everyone's like, "What are you doing? You don't have LinkedIn?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. I didn't think I needed one, but I do, and I need to get one."
Yeah. What about you, Samuel?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn consistently.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, LinkedIn is really good. Just like Instagram, how you use Instagram to show off yourself, to brand yourself. LinkedIn is a professional network that you can use to build your personal brand. And when you come out of uni, one of the first things you would like to do, whether you want to go into the corporate world or you want to start off your own business and become an entrepreneur, is to build a personal brand, right? That really tells a story to the general public who you are. So when you are part of platforms like LinkedIn, it allows you to create a profile. You can choose to follow certain companies that are of interest, certain industries that are of interest. You can see what is currently happening on the market. Whether you are an entrepreneur or not, LinkedIn will allow you to get some market insight, to know what is happening on the market. How can you better market yourself if you have your own business or if you want to go into, if you want to venture into a business. So these platforms are so key. And one other thing is Clubhouse. And this is something that most people do not know, actually. So if you want to, again, start your own business or you want to go into the corporate world, there are different groups on Clubhouse. So if you are in IT, if you are in the healthcare sector, if you even want to go into to start investing in stocks, shares, there are different groups that you can join. It's for free. Go on there. They normally have different discussions where you can listen, hear what is currently going on the market. Even if you want to start your own business, there are groups for entrepreneurs. It will enable you and help you to know what is going on in the market. Is there a market gap? Maybe you want to start a business and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what is there that I can do. And guys, there is more to businesses than just hoodies and t-shirts. For my Kingdom people, there's so many other things. We need people like interior designers, people who can cook, people who can do decors, people who can make cakes and all these things. There's so many different areas, and by joining these clubs, it will give you an idea of what else can I do. is there a gap elsewhere? How can I fill the gap? Because that is how you can make yourself of more value to the society, aside from just, applying for jobs and getting frustrated for not getting responses. So that is a little that I want to share. We've got about 10 more minutes before we enter into the Q&A, and I would like to tell you that keep on sharing the link, invite somebody to join us. We hope that the session is useful so far. If it's useful, please, comment below. Let us know how you're finding it so far. And the next, okay, Petra has a question.
I have a question. What would you say for someone that's already a graduate that is maybe in a role and they want to up their pay but they don't know how to do it? As in, they are in a role, they feel like they're doing way too much. Mm-hmm. The pay they're getting is not matching what they're doing. The negotiating of pay. A lot of people don't know about that. Since you're like a coach, you EM consultancy, what's the best tip you can give to those that are already working? Because some people have already graduated and they're working. Right. But they don't know they can negotiate their pay. So what would you say to like someone like that?
That's a very good question. Because a lot of people stay in one job or one position for years without even wondering or without asking if there is a way of negotiating their pay and getting a raise in their salary. There are different ways to it. Just like you said, if you feel like you're doing too much and you're taking on a lot of responsibilities that qualify you to get a pay rise, just list down these responsibilities. Because what you want to do is to have a chat with your manager, right? You want to sit down with your manager and speak to your manager and ask him or her, what is the next step? Right? I'm currently doing X, Y, and Z. I'm involved in so many activities, as you may see. I'm involved in other projects, and I'm taking on a lot, and I'm contributing to the growth of the business. Now, what is the next step in my career? How is the career path like? And based on what they tell you, you can then tell them that, it's been some time that you've been part of this business, you've been involved in various activities, and been doing various responsibilities, and you feel like you deserve, to get an increase in salary, and see what they say. But first and foremost, it's really important that you have something to show for, right? So don't just go and say that, I think I've been here for 6 years, so I need a pay rise. No, it's not about how many years you've been in a job or in a company or in a role, but it's how much of an impact you've been. So if you've been like the employee of the month, if you've been involved in other projects that nobody wanted to do, you have something substantial to show them that this is what I've been doing so far. Since I joined the business, we've increased about 10% in sales. Since I joined this department, we've been able to be the best department of the month. So you've got something substantial to show for. So when you ask for a salary increase, they know that you're not just saying it because you want it, but you've got something to show for. So that's one way to go about it. I mean, there are different ways, but fundamentally, I would say make sure you've got something substantial to show for that will qualify you to earn that. And for those of you that are maybe applying for jobs or you may be in a role for a few months, I would say always seek to know what the career path is like. What would be the next step? So if you start as a, business analyst, assistant, what is the next step? And how long will it take for you to get there? It's good to start asking these questions to your manager, speak to the HR, ask them, how long will it take for me to get a pay rise in my next function? Because then it will give you an idea of what to do and even how to act in your day-to-day activities, because you're working towards a target. So that is what I would say. Have I answered your question?
Yes, please, you have.
Okay,
you have.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We've got a few questions, but we would like to deal with the topic of graduate schemes. I know that this is very important. It's one of the key things that we would like to share today. For those of you that don't know what to do in your next adventure, Petra here has some vital information that she would like to share with us. And Samuel, if you have anything to add, you can also add. But yeah, Petra, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So there is a graduate scheme that is available to everyone that's a graduate. The minimum requirement for this one is a 2.2. And this scheme is called NGDP, National Graduate Development Program. Now, this program is a company that helps more of the BAME community where they literally filter us through to the government. So this program, they prepare you, they groom you, and they get you into working with the government. Now, this is something that we must be looking into, working in these places where we are making legislations, changing the society, community in whatever sector or faculty that you find yourself in. It's broad. The government is very big. The government covers every area, you know. So I believe that every graduate here, you will fall into a category. Now, how do you get on board? The NGDP program, the enrollment starts in September, October, so autumn. And
So that's like in a month's time?
In a month's time, yeah,
Okay.
It's in a month's time. So if you feel like you've finished uni, you don't know what to do, I recommend that you do some research on the NGDP program. I personally have a friend that went into this and she successfully completed. The process took a few months, 8 months or something like that, but she is attested to it, and I believe in future we'll possibly get her to explain more about it on her journey, how she found it. But she's attested to it that they help you so much and they make the process easy for you. And you enter into the government. Guys, this is somewhere we need to be, you know, and the starting salary is very good as well, especially when you come into London. Salary is a bit more than maybe the West Midlands. But this is something that I really recommend a lot of us begin to look into, because being in such an area, the difference can be made, the impact can be made. Be praying, okay, now let's do, you know. So if you're looking for your first job, I recommend this a lot for all the graduates. It doesn't matter how long ago you graduated. Even someone like me, if I wanted to do it, I can, regardless of how long ago I graduated. So I really recommend the NGDP program, which you can search online, do your research, and when applications open, you apply, and then you just roll.
Thank you so much, Petra. So basically, we're going to share the link of the general website. The registration is in a month's time. So if I were you, I will go on the website, try and get as many information as I can, read through it, what you can do, the necessary steps. Like Petra said, we have this lady that is going through the program. We will have her speak so she can shed more light and insight with those of you that would like to partake in this graduation program. So, before we are going to enter into the next phase, and that should be we should finish in the next 20 minutes. We would like to take some questions. We'd like to enter into the Q&A sessions. We know that many people may have questions to ask us today. The first question, so please, if you have any questions, just write them down, send them across, and we'll do our best to answer them. We might not be able to answer all of them, but we'll try and answer as many as possible. So the first one is, how would you start a business at uni? How would you start a business at uni? Petra, I heard you say that you had a business before you came out of uni, so how did you go about it? How did you start?
I started because I needed money and I didn't want to get like a proper job. So I was like, okay, there's a need for this. Yeah, I was a risk. I took a risk. So I would say when you're at uni, look at where there's a gap. Students always need something. I was actually doing too much, to be honest. People were hungry. I knew how to make food. I was like, okay, I'll make you food. Just give me this amount of money. I'll make it happen for you. So I was doing that. I was selling hair. I was making wigs.
Fair enough.
I was making
ambitious.
wigs. I was making wigs, and then I would get things on sale, and I just sell it for the normal price to people. They don't know that though, but I think I just, yeah. That's how
But
much.
that's the art of business.
Yeah, yeah. That's how much I didn't want to get a job at uni. So I just looked at where the need was, and I'd be like, okay, cool, yeah. Because my time was tracked. I can't go away from it. Because the moment I start working, I'll get more tired. So I just looked at what the people around me needed. So for me, the business wasn't about future, it was about now. But if you're at uni and you think about future, I don't see myself working for someone. I do recommend you work for someone, because you definitely need to know how the structure of business works, because that is someone else's business that is running, it's working. So if you want yours to work too, you need to know how it works. So I would say do research, search your market. Is it saturated? Is it not saturated? Which means, are there too many of whatever you want to do, or how do you make yourself different? Just know what you want to do and create something that isn't there. Even if it's there, make it different.
Yeah.
So in uni is a time where you can do trial and error. Make the mistakes because you have time. You have time. You have student loan to fall back on and stuff. Use that time to really trial and error so that when you're done with uni, you know if this can stand or if it can't.
That's good. That's really good.
That's something to that as well. I had a friend in uni. He's like a genius when it comes to coding. So on our course, what he decided to do, what he studied in the course, what he was doing, he'll do it in real time. So he randomly started a business, and he said, okay, I can code you a server for you to have like a database. This is your server for your database. Bam, this guy will actually do it live. He will actually come and show me and say, yo, Sam, I just created this database for someone, or I just created this website for someone. Because in my course, we had to do website design from coding, not like Wix or something. You have to do it from scratch. So we had guys that I'm associated with that can do it like instantly. So the guy said, okay, I'm going to take advantage of my course. He started creating websites for people. Money was coming in. So what he did, in a way, he was building up his experience as well. And then eventually, he turned it into his business. So you can take advantage of your course, what you're learning, and do it in real time. Don't think just because you're studying your course, you have to wait for your 3 years to end. You can actually take the course to your... You got to remember, they're giving you knowledge. It's not free, but they're giving you knowledge. At the end of the day, is what you do with the knowledge you're gathering. So now you got to ask yourself, how do I apply it? And the guy on the real time just said, yo, okay, I'm going to create a server for these people. And instantly, whilst I'm in uni at the same time, even I'm not doing it, I'm seeing this guy and earning money from it.
Wow. Make good use of the course that you're studying. Make good use of it. And, get as practical as you can. There are a lot of people that are doing so many things, just like Samuel, you said. They started, creating a website. Just find out what you enjoy doing and just start it. And once you start it, because it's within, your time or the period where you are in university, people might give you feedback as well. You have real friends that will give you feedback like, oh, maybe you should do it this way. Maybe you should do it that way. Maybe you can improve in this area. And like Petra said, once you come out of it, you can kind of know whether or not the business will stand. So, yeah, hope we've answered that question. Another question has come through. Somebody's asking, is there any opportunities in the medical or healthcare field? Are there any opportunities in medical or healthcare field?
Yeah, I believe there's a lot. Like Natalie just shouted, a lot. There is a lot everywhere. You have to do your research. I feel like graduates feel like because they have a degree, that's it. Like everything should just chase them. No, that's when you now sit down and you plan out your journey. Know what's available, even in your local area. What's available? What can I do? What should I do? How should I do about it? Ask yourself the 5 W's. What, where, who, when, that's that one. yeah. So that you know that, okay, you can answer each question, because if I even ask yourself, tell me about yourself, how are you going to answer that question?
It's
simple question. You have to know. The health sector is the
booming.
biggest. Yeah. It's possibly the biggest one, because every day it's something, people, our bodies, So there's plenty. You have to do your research and know what's available. Even in your university, you can make use of there's a department in every uni, employability one. They can give you advice and information. To be honest, I never went to mine. I'm not going to lie. I never went. You went to yours. I didn't go to mine because for me, athletics is on my mind. I don't want to know, but there at your university, there is always someone to help. So even as alumni, when you finish uni, there's someone still to help. You have to know what's available to you and go. Don't sit at home. Go. So that when someone asks you a question, you can answer confidently, not just waffling, so that you avoid certain questions, Be sure about your next move. Yeah.
Thank you, Petra.
I think you got to think of it. There's a public sector and there's a private sector. If you realize the private sector is the NHS, the the public sector is NHS, and the private sectors you have businesses like Bupa. So if you realize, if you work in the corporate world, some people get medical insurance from private hospitals or those type of medical places. So in essence, you got to look at yourself and search the market. I don't do a lot of stuff within the medical field. I just have family within it. So that's how I know there's Bupa, there's other types of private ones as well. There's plenty of them around. And the private ones pay more than NHS because it's private. And obviously you got to pay for those type of services. But it's good, and there's a lot of things you can learn. So you got to search the market. Like, I don't know how I know this information, but it's there. Trust me, it's there.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's all about doing research, get in touch with people, network. I can't stress it enough, guys. Let's learn to network. I know it's not easy coming out of uni. You might not have the confidence, but try and put yourself out there. I mean, I've seen memes and pictures of people on Facebook and LinkedIn that they're literally standing at the tube station and, you know, with their CV, with the, what do you call it? Is it the scan? What's it called? There's a scan that you can literally scan and it will take you, the QR code, yes, that you can scan and you can get their CV. This is how, you don't have to do the same thing, but learn to put yourself out there. Guys, nobody will come to you in your house and be like, I'm going to help you. You need to put yourself out there. And one tip that I always give people, even when you apply for jobs, follow up. Because why should they contact you? Because the thing is, a lot of people are applying for the same jobs. You know, if you want to go into the area of medical or healthcare, a lot of people want to go down that route. So when you apply for jobs, try and follow up after 5 working days. Call the people, tell them that you applied for this job and you'd like to know if it's still available. If not, you will know that, okay, maybe there's no point for me waiting because the job has already been closed. There's so many jobs you apply for that have been closed. I work as a talent acquisition specialist, and I can tell you that there are times where the jobs are closed, but it's still online. So you will apply and never get a response, not knowing that the role has been filled. But by you phoning to follow up, look up for their numbers, try and call the HR, get in touch with them, speak to them, let them know that you applied for this job, show your interest, and that will make you stand out. If there are people that have already applied, they can say to themselves, for this person to give me a call to find out even if the job is still available or not is a sign of their interest. So try and do more than what everybody else is doing. Stand out as always, everywhere you go. Like I said, 36.4 million graduates or people graduated in 2022 in the UK, and you might not be in the UK, but these tips might still be useful for you. Try and do research and network as much as you can. Our last 2 questions, and we will call it a session. So someone is asking, how do you learn to invest in stocks? So maybe they've come out of uni, they don't really want to go down on that job search route. They don't really want to, start a business. They want to start investing. Any tips?
Well, I'm not a stock person. I try to learn, but you need time. You have to dedicate time to want to learn this because it's a skill. So I would say, what platforms are there? What background knowledge can you get? Is there a website you can get baby knowledge on? I know there's something called baby pips. Baby pips. You have to basically start from scratch. Investment and all of these is broad. Which form of investment are you going into? So you have to be so specific that you actually go and study the specific one that you are going on. And by studying, I mean go on the internet, search it in Google. What does it say? What platforms do you trade on? What platforms can you use? If it's a certain, what's it called? A certain, not Bitcoin, yeah, whatever it is. If it's Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin? Is it valuable? Is it not? Is it worth it? Like, you have to do so much and connect with people that are doing it. I'm sure there's a lot of people around you that may be doing it, but they're very low-key. But have conversations and see what people are doing so that you know what route to also take. But I would say do your research online, on Twitter, there's pages. There's always information somewhere. You have to do the work and go and research. I'm not a stock person, so I cannot advise you the best. The best I can say is do the research, connect with people that are in this very thing. Platforms like Instagram or YouTube. The best one, YouTube, whatever you type, something will come up.
That's right.
Learn on YouTube, get the basics, and from the basics you go to intermediate or media, whatever you call it, and then you keep going up. You have to be hungry for whatever it is, you know. And yeah, most importantly, pray that God leads you to the right people.
Yeah. I would say because what I've found out in the corporate world in investments, you kind of have to be patient when you invest. You gotta know the niche you're going to invest into, because what I've learned from so far from investing is that, from what I've heard from people and conversation I have, because I'm trying to get into myself, is be very patient, because it can backfire very quick. Like, for example, with Bitcoin, I believe it had something to do with Elon Musk pulling something out, and all of a sudden, it dropped, right? And it's still trying to recover to go back up. So you gotta realize when you invest in stocks, it's a long process. It's not like, okay, I invest quick, money's coming. Like, if you're gonna invest in stocks, it's different from even trading, because investing is gonna build over time. So these are some of the key information, something I would say. But make sure you do your research, because trust me, I've had a lot of conversation with people and it's gone right and it's gone left. Me, the reason why I take my time is because I don't like the left. I like the right. So until I can get the right, I'm not going to go left. That's me.
Good. Thank you so much. It's just like Petra and Samuel said, look what works for you. Go online, do some research. Speak to people in your network that might be already investing in stocks and shares. Let them give you advice. Unfortunately, I feel like we live in a society where people are not really open when it comes to these things. They want to keep it to themselves. I've realized that a lot personally. It's like people don't want to share, and at the same time, we are a kingdom, you know, we are a kingdom, the kingdom of God. We want to all thrive. We want to all make money together so we can put it back into the things of God. So if, you know that you are skilled in that area of stocks and investment and shares, you can set up, like an online session where people can come, you can share insights. So those of you watching us that may be well informed in this area, you can set up something like an Instagram, do an Instagram live, share some tips. Don't keep it to yourself, because again, people are coming straight out of uni. They want to make money. Some people, might be in debt and thinking, oh, I need to pay off my debt. So if you're also watching us and you are skilled and informed in certain areas, feel free to, put yourself out there and let people come and learn from you. It's all about making impact. It's all about adding value to each other's lives. So yes, that's one thing I would say. And I just saw in the comments, one of our sisters, Dixie, said something, and I think it's very useful for those of you that are in-house, maybe you've not seen it. She said that it's really good to get involved in other activities as an employer. So like by calling up your local employers and asking if there are any job opportunities available, and being a competitive employee. So don't just go to work and do what you'd normally do, but make sure you stand out. Be competitive. Make sure that there is always something about you that will give you a competitive advantage. So thank you so much for sharing that, Dixie. Thank you very much. The last thing, someone is asking, is a psychology degree useful in the UK?
You know what? I believe that every degree there's an entry for any degree. As long as it's there's a job for you. You have to do your research. Psychology is the mind, right? Look what's going on with the mental health. Look what's going on with how people are thinking. There is. I believe this is like the season where a lot of like mental things, good or bad, positions are opened. Now, your job is to find out, how do I go about it? Where do I enter? Psychology is a big thing right now. How the mind works, how people think, how they think. Even in crime stories, and it's a lot. It's big. So what side do you want to go into? Do your research. Honestly, everything comes back down to do your research. You've asked the question, how? Okay, how much do you know about psychology? You know, in your course, what excited you? What module did you enjoy the most? Based on what you enjoy, now look into that aspect, or look into that faculty, or look into that side to your interest. Like, make it easier for yourself when you're researching. Don't just go because you studied. Okay, what did you like? Because this is something that you're going to be doing every day. 9 to 5, 9 to 5. At least like it, you know? At least like what you're doing so you don't be depressed by your job, you know? So it all comes back down to research. If you're still in university, make use of, like I said before, your university. They have employment, whatever it's called and stuff. Your uni may have a different name. Ask them questions. They will show you what's available, what kind of role you can go into, what names, you know, maybe a specific name. Maybe it might not be psychology. It's something else. You know, it could be something else. So you have to do your research.
Nah, it's true. Like, when I was in uni, obviously I didn't study psychology, but I studied business information systems. My lecturer actually worked in the corporate world, but I would have never known if I didn't ask him. Like, I think sometimes you gotta realize this: the degree you're going to study or you're currently studying, in a way, does open the door for you to land an interview. Now, the question what you gotta consider yourself to ask is, what do I really know? Because I believe with psychology, the door is open for it. Now, the question is, if I'm interviewing you and I ask you, what made you apply for this, or what do you know about this? That's where you can sometimes be stuck, because you've just studied the course, but what have you really taken from the course? Like, imagine going for 3 years of uni and now you're considering, is it worth going to study? You know, I know people, like in my job, what I do, there's some people that never went to university, but those guys are like 50 years old, so they probably could get away with it because of those times. But these times might be different. So sometimes you got to ask yourself, you're going to uni, are you trying to gain knowledge of it to use for yourself to help? Because at the end of the day, you're not just going to study. There's something there that you can use as knowledge to help you. You don't want to be just going there, okay, I got my degree, I'm out. And then someone asks you, what did you learn from your experience in that course? And you have nothing to show for it. So in essence, what I'm trying to say, the door's there for you. It's open. Don't think, oh, because I'm studying it, I don't think anything about it. Sometimes it's just down to lack of research.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. We're going to round up for today. We hope that this session has been useful and effective for you. Just as we said earlier, if you're coming straight out of uni, don't be depressed, don't have anxiety. We know that it would take time. Manage your expectations, that things might not go exactly the way you want it. Keep on praying, be sensitive. You know, ask God to lead you in most of, the time. Even applying for a job, ask God, where should I apply? Where should I not apply? If you have, and hopefully I hope you do, if you have a relationship with the Holy Spirit, He should be able to direct you where not to apply to avoid wasting your time, and even the company where you work for. So let's also include God, not just when we come to church, but even in our career, even in our businesses, whatever, next step that we would like to embark on. Let's always include the Holy Spirit and let's allow Him to lead us. So if you're a graduate listening to us, watching us, if you want to be an entrepreneur, go for it. Have a clear plan, have a clear structure. If you want to go into the corporate world, also manage your expectations, be employable, research, network, get in touch with people, and open up to people if you're struggling with certain area in diverse of areas, and get the help that you need. So finally, we're going to use just 1 minute each to give any final advice. And before we do that, we're going to share a link in the YouTube, also on the church group chat, KAC group chat. Please do feel free to fill out the survey. Let us know what you thought of this feedback and what areas we can improve on moving forward. So I'm going to start with you, Petra. Any final advice that you would like to share with the general public?
Yes, YouTube is free. Very, very, very free. It's so free, like interview tips. Oh my gosh, there are people that are literally on YouTube giving you tips for free, advice, how to compose yourself, what to say, what not to say, how to do this, how to do that, how to even answer certain questions that will come up. They will take you through the stages, because if you're applying for a role, you must know about the company. They will tell you what to research about the company, So what I'm saying is YouTube is free.
Thank you, Petra. YouTube is free of charge. Okay. Samuel, maybe in the area of business, those who want to enter into
Look for
business?
work experience. Don't look for something like volunteering jobs in those sectors. My experience is that I worked with Lloyds for like a week. Work experience, not paid. I was traveling up and down during rush hour. I didn't really care about the money. I care about the experience and knowledge I was gaining from the people that worked there. Sometimes you just need to be in a room with people that's experienced, and they can give you knowledge that you don't even know of. And that's what can help you to even be prepared for interviews or even know what to say. So that's what I have for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Final advice from me, just network. That's all I can say. Network, network, network. Everything in this society is all about connections. It's not necessarily about the degree you have, but the connections and how well connected you are. So learn to network, put yourself out there and build your confidence, and also trust and believe in God. We want to say a massive thank you for tuning in and joining us today. God bless you so muc for all our KAC members and partners, those in and outside the UK. God bless you. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we will be meeting here physically for our Wednesday Kingdom school service. So please be sure to join us or tune in online if you're outside the UK. God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you. And see you next time on Kingdom Interactive Session. God bless you.